Hello there, Michael Neff, Director of Gears Golf, and today I'm going to do a short video on Loft and how we measure Loft. I'm using Nick Price, a driver from Nick Price, and an iron shot from Ricky Fowler as the template here. So we'll start here with the driver. So we, as you know, in Gears, there's a visual tool here called Clubhead Vectors. And then there's a target line thing here. You can just turn that on. And Clubhead Vectors basically gives you a visual, if you look face on, of the loft versus the angle of attack. And those two, the difference between those represents what's called the spin loft. So it's a good visual tool for you. But basically, we give you loft at touch and at center. And you're going to see a different number there when you have a driver, a fairway wood, or a hybrid because of bulge and roll. With an iron, the face is flat, and that's why you're going to see a similar number here between loft, impact point, and center. So what I'd like to kind of illustrate, the reason why that's pretty important is because it helps you understand where the launch is coming from. Is it coming from the ball being hit higher on the face, or is it coming from the bulge and roll of the driver? It's easier to pick up from the iron shots because there's no bulge and roll, but being able to determine that is really a critical piece of Gears and one of the strengths of our product. And we don't use the golf ball to calculate where the face angle is. We're able to give you true touch point and loft at that point. We also give you the static loft of the golf club. So when you scale the golf club, it basically the static loft of club shows up in that panel. So this Nick Price's driver that we tested was 9.06 degrees of loft. And this shot particularly, he hit it a little high on the face. Most of his shots early on were kind of right in the heels. I might have indicated on an earlier video, but he basically is getting more loft at this point than he is at the center. So he's going to get some gearing effect help here, because if he hits it there on the face, the ball will launch higher with less spin, and in this case, a little side axis tilt. So he's going to get some side axis tilt to the left. He's a right-handed player, so he's going to get some axis tilt to the left because of gearing effect. And so he's not going to get optimal ball speed here, but he's going to get some, some draw roll out of the shot, which is something that he likes. But I think he also likes to be able to hit a cut. So when he needs to, a low cut. And so if he hit the same exact shot, let's say he hit that exact same shot in the center, the loft would be lower, the spin loft would have come down, and the ball speed would have gone up. However, the spin he would have had more spin on this, most likely, because of the spin loft would have still been kind of on the high side. He lost spin here, reduced spin because of where he hit it on the face, but he also lost ball speed. So there's that balance of trying to get the ball speed and the loft and the face angle all kind of matched up to the intended path. So in this case, if he wants more ball speed, he needs to hit it down here. And if he wants less spin and he wants the ball speed, he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to get a lower lofted driver. He could also get a stiffer golf club, a stiffer shaft, which would reduce the loft and would lower the angle of attack, but it would move the ball up on the face. So again, you're just constantly trying to find that center. So in this case, I don't want a stiffer golf club, because if I do that, then the ball is going to climb up on the face. It's going to launch higher with less spin, but my ball speed is going to keep going down. This is why you might find a lot of times that you have really good looking shots that the player's like, yeah, I hit that pretty good, and it looks great, but and you get a lot of distance and roll, but that kind of helps you understand bulge and roll better. Most tour players actually prefer kind of lower and toward the center, and then in that case, the loft launch and loft would come down, launch would come down, and ball speed would go up. And then if you needed to keep the spin down even more than that, then you would lower the driver loft. So the loft and the face angle are the same thing. If you look from above, you can see the face angle in relationship to the path. If you look face on, you can see the loft in relation to the angle of attack. And this is a good drill. Over here, Ricky is pretty down. He hits down on it like 8-9 degrees. Most of that's because his pelvis is pretty far forward and his hands are pretty far forward. And he likes to launch it a little bit low. He gets away with that because he's got a lot of clubhead speed, and so he's getting some spin from the clubhead speed from that low launch. So it's kind of a low to mid launch shot that, you know, he's got a lot of speed that gets the spin going. But if he were ever to lose speed, it would be hard to get the launch conditions up for him to be optimal. But it's a preference thing. You know, Ricky likes to hit it low. And there's some guys that prefer that ball flight, and that's kind of how they see it. So I'm not saying that you should change that. You just need to understand how to change it if you wanted to. So in this case, if I wanted more spin from the ball, I would either increase my clubhead speed or I would increase the loft on a driver. If I wanted to increase on an iron, if I wanted to increase Nick Price's spin, I would move the ball down on the face. Okay, but that's also going to change the loft. So I got to be careful where I do that and how I do that. Putting the ball in how high you tee the ball with a driver is a huge factor in where the ball touches on the face. And not only tee height, but where you sole the driver, and you know where you kind of rest the club against the ball. So again, you're after trying to get this ball on the sweet spot. The benefit of getting the ball in the sweet spot is you get the best ball speed. Miss hits, generally speaking, are closer to the sweet spot, so you get a little more love on miss hits. And most importantly, it's really good for distance control. So the more you get away from that sweet spot, the harder it is to get distance control, obviously, because the ball speed is going to come down the farther away you get from the center there. So anyways, I do want to illustrate how important it is, though, to know where you're touching it on the face and what the loft is at touch. And that's a great visual. This is a great tool for teachers to be able to understand where the launch is coming from. Is it coming from a centered hit or is it coming from bulge and roll? And when I hit an iron, am I considering that as much as I am with the driver? No, because there's no bulge and roll. So being able to understand gear effect is one of the gear's greatest tools. We do not use the ball data to calculate what the face angle is doing, and because we know where it's being touched on the face, again, really good visual tool or tool for you to be able to know what direction you should take your player. So anyways, that's the loft story. And the loft and the face angle work inseparably together. You can't separate them. If you increase the loft, if you close the face, the loft's going to go down. If you increase the face, or if you open the face, the loft's going to go up. If you hit it low on the face, the loft's going to be lower at that point than versus where you hit it higher. And vice versa on a driver, if the ball's hit on the toe, the face is more open there than it is on the heel. So all those things factor in, and really important to know where you're touching the ball in the face. Anyways, let me know if you have any questions. I hope you enjoyed the video.